Good morning. Hi. I don't know if you can see me yet. No, you can't. Now you can. Hi. How was your sleep? How will you sleep be? I hope that the technical difficulty won't repeat itself. But hey, we can't do anything about that. I have my coffee right here. And I actually not sure if this is the place where we stopped or the next one. I think it was this. Implementation Philly? Yep. I think this is the point where we stopped, right? This has to be it. I remember this spot. Can I read the book? Does it say if I ever do? But if I read further, I don't remember. I probably did. Did not. Nope, I don't think I did. So let's see, do I have a voice? Test, get to. Kinda, not really. Nice shirt, thumbs up. It's one of the shirts my sister gave to me. As a fun gift, or something like that. Eat, sleep, and game. Sadly we can't abide by that, because we have to add work here as well. But I guess we should just start. We are getting tired, probably at this point, because it's night for you. And let me see. We are talking about Discord and the others. I saw his name pop up somewhere here later on. So let's find something. There you go. That should be fine. By this point of the story, no, actually, it occurred a little earlier. Before we went into the meeting hall, the doctor filled me in on the fact that most of his new guests were time clones. That realization made me curiously kind of guilty. I was among the few who would ever remember that all of this took place. As I watched them have a conversation with each other, I remember thinking that, in the long gallop, the action was pointless. It felt strange to me for them to try so hard to get to know each other when they were destined to forget it all later on, and they all knew it as well. But they just didn't behave that way. They kept on doing and saying whatever their original self would have said in their place. They were basically one and the same. In a way, you could say their original selves were temporary as well, because they would eventually die from one cause or another, with perhaps just a few exceptions among the bunch. Even if I did not directly participate in their conversations, I kind of felt obligated to listen in, since I was among the very few who had the potential to remember it after the adventure. And those were such powerful creatures. So, deserving of being remembered. Their presence here was a testament to their courage and selflessness. I paid attention to them because I felt like they deserved the honor, but unlike them, I could get tired and exhausted. I could not keep this up forever. I did all I could in the end, but I eventually had to fade away. Not participating in conversations directly did help to conserve my energy, but eventually I would be too tired to even eavesdrop. My observations revealed a few interesting highlights. Let's see if I can recall a few of them. I can hear myself not being able to fully produce sound. By the way, it's basically the bad vocals. Right after you wake up, you don't even have your voice back fully. So, both of you had adventures with the Doctor. They appears curiously to both Princess Luna and Princess Celestia. It was on and off and on, Celestia answered, and we never set foot in this wondrous box until now. I try to stay focused on my own time, you see. Since I am immortal anyway. Says she. I didn't see the need to skip across time to see it all. I figured living through it, moment to moment, would be more rewarding in the end. That way, I would have the time to accumulate all the wisdom and experience that time offered all along it. The only reason why I'm making exception in this case is because the circumstances are so dire, and also because the Doctor explained to me that we would be time close anyway. That basically means I never did join him in the first place. I'm still back in my own time period in Equestria, seeing the benefits of my subjects. He borrowed a mere fraction of me, for a purpose so important it would help secure our own existence. No, okay. Maybe I am not even trying. Maybe you had occasional adventures with him, and only during your present, dear sister, but my experiences with the Doctor were far more direct. Luna announced to her sister by gesturing to her chest with a hoof. This information surprised Celestia, so she inquired to her sister. What do you mean? Normally, I would not be telling you any of this, but since we are destined to disappear anyway, I suppose I can tell you a little bit. And this is gonna be the turn-away point, the surprise that Celestia is actually not a time clone. She would be like, oh yeah, your time clone actually did say to me something. Luna replaced her hoof from her chest, back to the ground. I had much more direct experiences with the Doctor back then. I was still a young filly. The Doctor borrowed me, with my permission of course, to have a whirlwind tour of all the time and space. I had travelled with the Doctor directly as one of his companions, although it is not quite the same Doctor you see before you today. This is the actions of one of his future incarnations. I'm not sure which one, but it will eventually happen. You never told me any of this, Celestia objected at her sister with surprise. This happened when you were still just a filly? This means you had plenty of time to tell me. Why didn't you? Well, obviously because you sent me to the moon. I didn't have much of a chance to tell you. I stepped in the moon. I think I called it. For 1,000 years? Luna said with a dry, narrow eyed accusing look at her sister, but it quickly softened as she continued to speak. I'm afraid I must confess that even back then, I had some jealousy towards you, and I was approaching my miserable face in my life. Oh, are you approaching me? Then get as close as you can. You're the sun, and all of you adoring fans, but a few ponies remained awake at night to worship the moon as they had the sun. That provided me with an outlet to my earlier frustrations. If it weren't for him, we might have a quarrel with each other at a much earlier point in our lives. Celeste rolled her eyes and looked away corner-wise with a yeah, whatever kind of look. Sister, please understand. Luna besieged as she faced her sister more fully. I have made promises to certain ponies to keep this journey a secret. Saying that once for Celestia's interested attention. I couldn't break my vow, especially to those ponies who had given their lives to protect me. In honor of their brave sacrifice, I could not defy them. I fear I am treading dangerously close to breaking my vow already right now, but I wanted to at least understand the fact that I have a secret, even if I cannot divulge the full details. Surely, you have your own secrets to keep. Please do not condemn me for having the same. By this point, Celestia looked far more sympathetic. When Luna finished her point, Celestia actually approached to hug her sister and said, "Of course, dearest sister. I did not know you were keeping still secrets to protect the honor of the others who were dear to you. I am happy that at least you admitted to me part of your secrets, and I invite you to keep the rest to yourself. It also pleases me to learn that you had your own special moment to yourself with the doctor. After feeling rejected enough, it pleases me to hear that you found some joy in life, even way back then. Now, I feel even more grateful to the doctor." Backing off a step and lifting her sister's face with a hoof, then said, "How was it? From now on, we'll be more honest and open with each other. Does it sound good?" Yeah, but that doesn't actually make sense in the real world, because you're just saying this as time clones. Oh, hi, Dice. You are here and you are at work, hardly working. On the side, a little sadly, and placed her own hoof on top of her sister's to lower it as she confessed. "Alas, there is still yet more secrets that I must continue to protect from you, and I cannot promise that it may not happen again, as much as I might like to be open with you." Luna looked at her sister, hopefully. "I just hope that mere desire inspires forgiveness in you. I would also understand if you must continue to guard secrets from your own from me. We are both Princess of Equestria, and we have much responsibility to our name accordingly. Even if we must guard secrets between us, I ideally hope that we can still get along with each other." Of course, sister. I would like that very much as well," Celestia replied. "You're right, of course. I do have other secrets I have accumulated over those years that I must protect as well. But having to keep them and knowing that you have some of your own does not make me love you any less. You are my sister, and you always be part of me." "Sister," Luna said with a bit of tears in her eyes. This time, it was her that initiated the hug, and it was gladly returned. I smiled as I regarded this heartfelt union. So many ponies regarded them both like demigods to be worshipped only from afar, but the truth was they were ponies too capable of flaws and virtues on their own. I knew how uncomfortable it can feel to put on a pedestal, so in no way did I wish to treat them the same. Witnessing moments of openness between each other like that, each behaving like normal sisters, would for good and for real help me remind me how normal they could be as well. And that, in turn, helped me to feel a closer connection to them. It was a enlightening experience that I was glad to overhear. It was like Derpy felt the same way, except I suspected she was a bit stuck on the idea of Luna eventually traveling with a future version of the Doctor. But that probably made her wonder what happened to herself during that time. Questioning that probably made her take a hard look at her own mortality. No, she actually just went back to Ponyville. Hey! Featherwind was there! Is that Hector from a distance? Wait, Hector? Is that one of the Legion ponies? From a distance, that normally no, Hector is one of the trainees. One of the best trainees of his. Okay. From a distance, that was normally too far to be overheard. But because Featherwind could hear conversations from a distance to the wind, if it includes his name, all of a sudden sees his attention. Featherwind spent a few moments trying to visualize track the speaker down, and eventually looking at Hector speaking with Spike and Ember. Seeing them made him curious if Spike ever did manage to convince Fluttershy to bravely step outside the TARDIS. However, there were times in his own past when he could easily sympathize with Fluttershy. Yep, I remember now. I remember later on. There he was, facing the dragon, one-on-one. Hector bragged dramatically. The dragon stared at him, and he stared at the dragon. Both of them slowly narrowed their eyes at each other, each knowing that the next few moments could spell the victory or disaster between them. Then the dragon unleashed a brilliant torrent of fire that erupted from his mouth, which could melt an entire mountainside, but Featherwind just had the wind cyclone around him, which protected him from the roaring flames. After that, he sailed up to there and down into the creature to follow him, with a weird beam blasting from his horn. The creature's scales were much too tough to be penetrated by such a beam, but it did manage to secure the creature's attention. So that locked was that he completely ignored the giant crystal spike Featherwind grew from the ground, and he sailed his way up to the sky. The dragon followed, burning with all the fury of the layers of turtles. My friend measured his distance carefully, making sure to keep the crystal spike directly below the both of them. Then, he used the tornado or wind or something to push the stupid dragon down into the giant crystal spike. Oh, that was Amber, okay. Then he used the tornado wind or something to push the stupid dragon down to the giant crystal spike. Amber gasped with a droll roll of her eyes. Oh, you were there? Hector asked in surprise. Hello, but your name stays so predictable. Amber complained. The dragon deserved to die if he fell for such an obvious trap. I don't know about that, Spike countered. Remember, this dragon was not accustomed to seeing other unicorns at all. He had no idea what he was dealing with. Why would he suspect that Featherwind had the power just to blow him down into the crystal spike? Amber gestured to Hector but looked at Spike. Because he just said that Featherwind conjured a wind shield to defend himself from the dragon's fire breath. If he could do that, then the dragon should have known that he might be able to throw winds at his face more directly. Plus, the dragon is stupid enough to ignore a giant crystal spike that suddenly emerged from the earth. If it were me out there, I would be thinking three things. Number 1. Lunch. Thanks for conjuring giant crystal spike just for me. I'm sure it's delicious. What did I say when he did that? Maybe you and I should make a deal. You just created a giant crystal spike from out of nowhere. That's obviously 10 times bigger than any crystal those police back at the quarry minded me for years. I mean, There goes the motivation for his anger right there. Amber threw up her claws into the air in wow, that's a word. Exasperation for the second. He should have come to a stop immediately after that and said aloud, whoa, hold it. You can do that? Can you do that again? If so, then we just became best friends. I think we are on the same page, Emperor. Number 2. Hello! Amber threw her claws up to the air for a moment again. She has caught a giant crystal spike from the ground, from out of the ground. Only the idiot would not question what else he might be able to do after that point. One would think this space of power on that scale would warrant at least a little caution. Number 3. Who the heck keeps themselves directly above a giant crystal spike like that? Was this dragon blind or just plain stupid? In my observation, anger does often have a way to make it harder to think clearly. Spike figured. That's no excuse, Amber agreed. This is a giant dragon, right? That means he was an adult dragon. He must have lived for thousands and thousands of years to get that award. Are you telling me that in that time he never gained the common sense to pay attention to his surroundings when he was dealing with obviously unknown threat? Either this dragon had rocks for brains, or he never encountered a decent challenge. Once in his entire life. Probably the second one. Either way, I don't care what happens to him anymore. She started off to her left side by crossing her arms across her chest and wore a happy expression on her face. If he really was that foolish, he deserved to die. And later she found out that was one of her ancestors. I could not have said it any better than myself, said the new dragon that approached the three of them, which Featherwind was not familiar with. Smaller, maybe? This was a tall teenage dragon that was close to Amber's height, but was taller. He had two red scales, yellow underbelly, pinkish freckles, and yellow spikes, which end in a webbed crest. His wings were red at the back and yellow at the front, and they were a bit torn. Wait, what? The bully? Huh? I don't know his name. I don't remember his name, but I know who you are talking about. What the heck is he doing here? You will probably say it here. A dragon who loses to a Nancy Pansy pony is not worth the eggshells he was born from, said the newcomer as he approached with successfully threw Spike and Amber's attention, but Hector was drawn elsewhere during this time when somebody else called for his attention. I actually thought this was gonna be smaller, but nope. Dragons is sir, are just probably just weak and pathetic creatures, much like your puny poorly friends here. And looky what we have here. If it isn't Sparkle Spiky Wakey. The teenage dragon deliberately taunted. Upon arrival, he rubbed the knuckle of his claw on top of Spike's head, which obviously made Spike uncomfortable, because he took a step back to be outside of reach for a moment later. Nice to see you too, Garple. Oh yeah, that's it. There is his name. Spike said tightly, in a very irritated tone. Well, it's not nice to see you. Garple sat back aggressively by jabbing a point to his claw through Spike's chest. I don't like you. I don't know when you were ever going to get it through your trick little skull of yours. Why are you even here anyway? Don't you realize there's going to be an epic and rocking war out there? Meanwhile, you... Grabber jabbed his pointing claw into Spike's chest to run. Couldn't even smash one tiny little funny thing. You are so pathetic. Oh my god, is he grabbed from the point when he is still just a joke? Still just a big bully? You may have gotten your things finally, but that still doesn't make you one of us. He turned to his chest. Just stick to what you are best at. Let your puny pony friends shield you. While they do that, leave the rest of the fighting to real dragons. We know how to play party down, and all of those dark forest creatures out there are going to rue the day they messed with Grapple. Hey, Grapple, I am the Lord of Dragons, and I say that you should be friends with Spike. Wait, what? When he said that last word, he brought a claw above him, clenched it, then dragged it down. After that, he walked off and waved goodbye to the two of them. Later, losers! Are you calling me a loser? Oof. Bad choice of words. Amber challenged Grabber, which made him freeze, then looked back at her very nervously. No, madam. I was talking to him and his puny pony friends. Grabber explained to Amber nervously. Amber pointed the two clawed fingers at her eyes, then twisted them out to point the same two fingers at Grabber. After she did it, she said in a warning voice, I'm watching you. Don't cross the line. Save your anger for those dark forest creatures out there. Not directed at us. Yes, ma'am. Grabber instantly agreed. Can I go, ma'am? Amber waved him off dismissively by looking away from him disdainfully. You may go, she bade. Thank you, ma'am. Grabber sighed with nervous gratitude, then quickly darted away. After Grabber left, Spike looked at Amber and briefly gestured to her with both of his claws. I asked, seriously, Amber, why did you invite him along? He's such a jerk, but he's still one of the best dragons. He was actually pretty close of getting what was it? The Scepter of Holy Fire. I don't know what this was. The Scepter of something. The Dragon Scepter, let's just call it that. Well, Amber said as she looked at Spike a lot more softly than she did with Grapple. When the Doctor or this Time Lord, she said with clock words, first approached me, he said he needed help with a threat which could destroy the world. I think he did not make me clear to me at first. However, that was the fact that he was borrowing was as a timey-wimey time clone thingies. At the time, I actually thought we would be risking our real lives. So with that in mind, I summoned the other dragons, and I asked for only volunteers on a super dangerous assignment, which would protect the world from an ancient evil threat. Not many dragons stepped forward, Spike, but of the few who did, Grabber was one of them. She gestured back in Grabber's direction, while still regarding Spike. I couldn't afford to be picky, Spike, since I was asking only for volunteers. That's strange though. Spike looked thoughtful as he placed a single claw finger on his lips and looked off his side a bit, with a look of suspicion on his face. Why would Grapple of all dragons be willing to make self-sacrifice to protect Equestria? Spike looked back at Amber and lowered his finger from his lips. Normally, I would think he would be the last one who would volunteer for such an assignment. I recall time when he wanted to attack all the ponies in Equestria if he managed to become Dragon Lord. Amber twisted her right side a bit as she continued to regard Spike. She crossed one arm across her chest and folded the other claw draped over the other arm in lazy fashion. Well, Grabber may be a jerk, but it's his planet too. Spike? When he heard that something was coming to threaten. When he heard that something was coming that threatened him and all he cared about, he was proud to volunteer. Ha! Spike looked impressed. I guess there are redeeming qualities to him after all. Spike sounded really surprised to hear himself say that. Well, he may be a jerk, but he can also be a jerk to other jerks. Amber added. That's another good point. Spike realized. Plus, if he gets out of line, then hello! I'm the Lord of all the Dragons. I can keep him in line if he starts to cross it. Amber said confidently. Even if I do fall for some reason, then there are these other ponies and creatures here to help keep him in line. Not even Garbo is stupid enough to misbehave when he's surrounded. Wow, Amber, you ate out this wrong, haven't you? Spike asked in an impressed tone. Eh? She looked at the back of her right claw casually, as she said, that's what I do. I'm the leader of the dragons after all. If I'm going to say that way, I need to think this through. A good leader always does. A good one, perhaps. Spike agreed. But I'm just glad to see that you are also here. Wow. Did Spike actually call her maybe not a good leader? It's a backhanded burn at this point. Having you fight by your side only makes me feel much safer. I feel like we honestly have the chance to beat this thing with you around. Ah, Amber looked touched as she regarded Spike affectionately. Thanks, Spike. You deserve it. You really are all kinds of awesome. Spike cheered while pointing at her with both of his pointing fingers for further emphasis. I'm a little concerned for you though, Amber said back to Spike with a little worry. Carver was right about one thing. You are the furthest thing from a true warrior. It doesn't seem like a good thing to invite you to a serious battle. Are you sure you'll be okay, Spike? I guess she didn't see what Spike is capable of after gaining his wings. Now he is a dragon. Now he can breathe fire properly. Any failings I have on my part, I have my friends to help make up for them. Spike cheerfully explained, and I of course have to make up for their failings as well. I've been always Twilight's assistant for as long as I can remember, and she has relied on me many times to help her save the day. I did save the Crystal Empire twice on my own, and I also helped to solve a friendship problem in Ponyville, when the friendship may call upon me. Let me see what kind of music is gonna come. We don't need dark music right now. I don't think. We have some music. This should be fine. I went out back, then I realized something. Wait, that friendship problem was me, and I was only upset with you that day because you kept ignoring me in the hopes of keeping me and Torx from meeting each other, which by the way was totally stupid of you. I'm still a bit upset at you for that. Dark music because Spike is talking. Go easy on me. Spike back sheepishly for Quill, because he's the one writing everything. Spike back sheepishly with a wince on his face and tight cringe in his pose. I was under a lot of pressure that day. Yeah, which you totally caused. Amber exasperated. Be that as it may, I still had to solve the problem in the end by learning my lesson. No, you didn't do anything. It was them who solved the problem by their own. Spike declared, which made Amber hold her eyes truly. Also, I've been used for many other occasions. Remember that time I helped you win the Gauntlet of Fire? I do. Amber recalled fondly. I really owe you for that one. My point is, I come in handy pretty often, and in very surprising ways. I may be a big baby dragon still. No, you are not a baby dragon anymore, you have your wings. But I have 10 times more experience than other dragons twice my age. The lessons I have learned in Ponyville with my friends, I'm sure will come in handy where we are going. Not everything we are going to face out there is just physical battle. The doctor said it would be a mental and emotional battle too. And if there is one thing I do well, it's moral support. Plus, with these wings, Spike briefly up to demonstrate, I can at least scout for all of you. I can also deliver messages a great distance using my fire breath. Yeah, what's up with that? Amber asked curiously. If the rest of us can do that, why do you have a unique gift of being qualified milk carrier? I'm not really sure. Spike scratched the back of his neck as he glanced down and to the right. It's all because of Twilight going back to the past and creating a time paradox to create the magical rainbow boom, which actually wakes Spike up. That's the only reason. Twilight thinks it has something to do with the circumstance of my birth. I was prompted to an early birth because of her magic on the day Rainbow Dash's first legendary sonic rainbow, and it was also the day she got overloaded with magic and subsequently got a kitty mark. She also thinks that is why I was born without wings. I didn't develop yet as a result of my early birth. That actually makes sense. Spike looked back at Amber. I think that's also why I've always felt so naturally loyal to her. It's kind of my dragon code, after all, to serve those who help save my life. Twilight caused my birth entirely. Even though it might have been premature, I still made it thanks to her, and I always felt instinctively grateful for that. I always thought of her as a mother. I guess you have come in handy in unexpected ways, Amber admitted. We have to fight the war though. Time clone or not time clone, I know your limits and stay far away from the front lines. Let someone like me take the lead. You are my friend too, Spike, and I will protect you. Thanks, Amber. Meanwhile, I got your back too. Spike snapped both of his thumbs on his middle finger, then pointed both pointing fingers at Amber, while also giving her wow, why can't I say cookie? Because I'm pretty sure it is because of Cookie Chioma. I stumbled upon the same word twice, while also giving her thrice cookie wink. I cannot believe this. No, it's Spike. Or Spike the Brave, and Chloe does not let his friends down. If there is only one thing you can count on about me, it's that. Oh, you have let me down before, Amber scolded and softened. But you always made up for it. I've known plenty of dragons in my time who would never consider apologizing to me like you would. We can really learn from you. We can really learn a lot from you, Spike. Happy to help, Spike cheered. Featherwind smiled to himself as he looked away and stopped paying attention to the scene. He found it a great comfort to have a proof that not all dragons were evil. It really went far to prove him that all species have redeeming qualities to them, and most individuals do as well. The first dragon he encountered in this timeline burned down most innocent ponies, without remorse. But along comes this tiny baby dragon, and Patrick says, wait, we are not bad. Look, I prove it. Lesson Featherwind has already learned earlier was reinforced on that day. Friendship could come from anywhere. Also, we can change the music at this point. Okay, I got a comment. I'm gonna read that really fast. Why did you stop music? Why does it stop when I read my comment? It's strange. It's really strange. But everyone wanted to stay awake and pay attention to all those new and potential friends who continued their bonding socialization in the meeting hall. But there were some limitations he had not learned to break yet. Just because he defeated the impossible before didn't mean he could do it every time. He wanted to stay with them and learn as much as he could. He really did, but over time the crowd in that room started to brush against his minor claustrophobia, slowly but surely. Eventually he had to step outside the room and take in several deep breaths under the wide open air. His vision was a little blurry at that point. He touched the side of his head, near his eyes, and shook his head in an effort to focus himself. It kind of worked, but this was clearly a losing battle. Inevitably he knew he had to go to sleep sometime. Normally, that wouldn't seem such a big deal. He had done it before plenty of other times in his life, but during these times, usually not so many important things were happening all at once. The fact he was one of the few in that room who had the capacity to remember all of this, made him feel obligated to try and pay attention and remember it all. In moments like this, he wished he could be like them and stay awake forever, or at least as long as they were here. It would be nice to ask them, hey, can you please write down notes of what you see, what you talk about, and give it to me after I wake up while I'm sleeping? He sighed and leaned on a rail that he stood next to. He looked toward the edge and saw an abundance of torches lit below in the darkness, each carried by one of the many creatures who come to the city and did everything they could to pray for the doctor's safe arrival. He was assured by certain members of the city in high authority that they would make the effort to convey all the other gathered crowds of the success of their endeavors. If they had already come to pass, it made Father Wind wonder what they were thinking about right now. Hey there! Mind if I join you? Politely asked the feminine voice. Yeah, that's the feminine voice, right? Hey there! Both because he was too tired and because the voice was so new to him, Father Wind could not place the voice by memory alone this time. He had to check his shoulder to identify the speaker. When he did, he easily recognized her, despite the fact he really met her in person only before. That's probably Twilight. Yup, it's Twilight, okay. You are very much welcome too, Princess Twilight. Father Wind invited. You're not going to freeze in fangirl mode again, are you? No. Twilight assured with a glow of embarrassment. I'm good now. No easy ravings for the little filly anymore. At least, not at the moment. Twilight cleared her throat after a short and silent pause, feeling a little anxious to shift the subject matter away from herself. There was a reason why I felt that way earlier. Your work is really very good. Wow. Wait. I don't think this is good. You don't need really. At this point. It's either really good or very good. This is not something anyone says. Really very good. This is an over exaggeration right there. She said as she totted her way beside him. You were born such a long time ago. This here is one of the opportunities I have never expected to have. A chance to meet a pony I admire from old. I think I was just surprised is all. I'm sorry for my behavior earlier. I hope you can understand. I really didn't mean to be rude. I know how much you hate being put on a pedestal. Believe me, I feel the same way myself. It's probably one of the reasons why I felt such an intense connection with you. You are one of the most powerful and talented unicorns I ever heard of. It's such a surprise you managed to stay so humble about it. That really made me admire you for it. I am a fan of your work too. But that means said softly. I've traveled through time widely enough to encounter some of your work as well. Some of which is probably ahead of even your time. I sense as I read your work that we are kindred spirits. We both feel that the weight of our power is a heavy burden and responsibility, and we both feel very afraid to let any pony down. There was a quiet between them for a moment. Then it was broken down first by Twilight. At least you trying your best to pay attention to every pony in here, and I think I know why you did it. You felt it was your responsibility to remember everything that's happening in there, didn't you? You feel that way because you know that the rest of us can't do that in the long gallop. I myself will disappear when this mission is done, and I will have no idea I ever spoke to one of my heroes. I really wish I could remember. She sighed as she looked down over the rail while also leaning on it, resting both of her four hooves on top of it, one folded on top of one another, then resting her head on her folded hooves. The expression on her face deeply sad with regret. During that time, a subtle breeze brushed softly through her mane. At least, now you know how I feel. I was standing next to an unicorn princess from the future. I knew she was responsible for many pivotal moments in the future that saves our world. She was also considered the de facto leader of the main 7, the head of the elements of harmony. She was the pony of magic and the princess of magic, princess of friendship. I even suspected she was once far more than that. The source of all magic in this world, as I recently discovered, came from a magical trying star known from this time as a Twilight Star. I didn't consider the name a coincidence either, because I saw that the star looked like with my own eyes, thanks to the telescope in the city. What was surprising about the situation, however, was how comfortable I felt around her, despite knowing all of this. Maybe it was because I felt she could understand me, in ways most other ponies could not. I both hoped and suspected she felt the same way about me after she recovered from her initial freakout. The relationship we had between us kind of reminded me of Skydancer in a way. Back then, he and I both had a strong, unspoken and instinctual bond. The bond I felt between Twilight, Sparkle and I perhaps had different reasons for being there, but the overall feelings were much more the same regardless. It's just a kinship, pure and simple, likely because of our mutual love for magic, books, and how we regarded life in general, but mostly books. Twilight Sparkle, do you trust me? Featherwind asked, out of blue. Prince Ali, fabulous, he Ali. I'm sorry, but this sentence always reminds me of that. Twilight lifted her head up to her legs, on the head and looked over at him. She was caught off guard by how forward that question was, but she had no motive to lie. Because of that she said, "Of course I trust you. I have no reason not to." "I guess I was not far off. Then take my hoof." Featherwind offered his right hoof to her. "There is something I want to show you." I guess it was not a coincidence that I was reminded by Faradin. Then they fly off into the air with their magical carpet. They continued to be caught off guard by his forwardness. It made her a little uncomfortable, but because her fangirl crush, she also felt embarrassed and fluttered. She was also curious and mystified what he was up to. There was something in his eyes that promised to show her great wonders if she chose to accept this. Twilight accepted his offered hoof in days, while her cheeks burned bright red. "I'll show you a whole new world. Just a reminder, Stormwing is probably somewhere out there being super jealous about this. Probably even listening to them at this point." But she is reminded that they will have a daughter, and they will be together, because that's the only thing that she knows. She didn't read it forward. "Come, fly with me," Featherwind invited as he lifted off the ground with a silver targeted aura. "Okay," she said numbly, staring at his eyes and felt momentary entrance. She spread her wings and lifted off the ground. Together, flew over the city, near the very top of it. I took her to observatory. She was already impressed before we even set a hoof inside. In fact, the entire city was amazing to her. She never thought she would be flying here in an ancient city like this. Never mind the surprise in how advanced it was considered to her. I shift, as long as you don't include non-canon stories. Yup. Along the way, she casually mentioned the fact she had time traveled twice before, but nowhere near this far back in the time. Both times, it was due to a spell rather than a time machine. I had the means to open the locked door of the laboratory. Araki wasn't there, but I did encounter several of his assistants. It was funny how they initially mistook her for the doctor at first, since that was the one we were trying so hard to summon. I quickly corrected that misunderstanding, but it also explained we had indeed successfully summoned the doctor. After a brief introduction, I told them to examine Twilight Sparkle's cutie mark for an explanation why I brought her here. They did indeed understand it after they saw it, then eagerly agreed to set up the telescope for the correct star. Twilight watched this all in bewilderment. I assured that she would soon understand. While I said that, I was eagerly looking forward to her reaction. Just remember, Twilight is fond of stargazing. She had... Wait! I'm actually curious. Does Twilight still have a telescope? Because we never seen it since then. Did it just break and she never got a new one? It took several minutes to set up the telescope. She actually delayed the process a bit with a lot of questions about the machine, which also proved she had some expertise and interest in the subject. They sounded delighted to be addressing a fellow student of the stars, so when they replied, they did not talk down to her. Instead, they gave their honest opinion, as if she was an expert. Of course, I of course was aware of the interest in the stars. That was one of my principal reasoning for looking forward to the reaction to the case. Looking forward to a blind reaction. Soon we never saw have one again. Yeah, that's what I was like. She never even stared at the sky, at the night sky after this, too many times. Only once when the three princesses sang to her. That was the last time we saw her staring at the sky. Then at last, she looked. I stood by her side, and was brimming with anticipation. Oh, my Celestia! That's the Twilight Star? The Twilight test exactly. It is, and it's the source of all magic in this world. Featherwind explains smoothly. What? Fell lifted up her head from the peephole of the telescope and looked back at Featherwind in confusion and amazement. Moreover, her new home does have some upper balcony. She could have put such a device. She could have. But again, we never saw that. The star has been projecting comets at this planet for a long time now. Featherwind lectured. Each comet has been named Starlight Dust, and each one is thick with magic. It's enchanted land, and every creature that has ever interacted with it. It even caused the rise of sentience in the species that has interacted with it closely, which in this time includes the Silurians and the Rakua, and more recently, the native species that call themselves horses, which will evolve into ponies, or devolve into ponies, we know and love from our day. The Twilight Star is the source of all these changes. And the reason we don't see it in the night sky in our age is because even now it's being consumed by a black hole nearby. While I would normally call it a natural phenomenon, this black hole has actually projected something from it, the dark star. It too has crashed into this world as if chasing its primary food source, and it was proven to have malevolent, primitive intelligence. Featherwind approached closer to her, to put more emphasis on what he had to say next. Twilight Sparkle, I expect you are, in some form, related to the spirit of the star. Such a form matches your cutie mark, almost perfectly, and that symbol has cropped up in numerous other ages across the time. It has always stood for magic. The star being destroyed. The star is being destroyed, even as we speak right now. But it spread the seeds of hope to another distant world, as if with desperation to defend some piece of it. That piece is you, princess. And it is also the magic of in the magic of our pony, who will ever exist now and on into the future. Feather looked up to the upper tip of the telescope, or at least as far as the ceiling would allow him to see. I believe that star has called us here, to this time, to defend what it's trying to create, and I believe the dark star is the response to the Twilight Star's efforts, meaning to destroy all the Twilight Stars helps to create. Featherwind regarded Twilight again. Not only was she thoughtful, she was also crying a bit. He didn't completely understand why she felt that way in that moment. He suspected she felt overwhelmed by all this news, but deep down he also thought it was because she felt he was right. She did feel a connection to that star, and its desperate hope to defend life and magic. She probably cried to mourn a friend that died a very long time ago. One whose sacrifice helped to create everything she had dear in her life. Both of them stood in silence for a long moment. Even the assistants in the background seemed too afraid to move because it might make a sound. This was a pivotal moment they were witnessing. particularly because Twilight seemed to have such an intense symbolic connection with that very thing that gave their world magic and sentence. Well, temper a clone of hers at last. This discovery is too important to let it be forgotten. Twilight eventually decided, with some steel in her voice. The brave sacrifice of this star must be honored. She guarded Featherwind. You have to be the one to do this. You must write about this. Featherwind narrowed one eye at her suspiciously. Didn't you say you were fond of my work? In that case, why aren't you already familiar with this, if I obeyed your instructions and wrote about this star? Because she is in one of the possible futures. Twilight realized he had a good point, which made her truthful again. It may be because that work got lost or forgotten somehow, or maybe it's simply rare and has yet to be discovered. She looked down with a sad sigh and closed her eyes. I wish I could remember this discovery. It feels so important to me. Then how about this? What if I write you a letter and post it to be delivered to you personally in the future? Featherwind III. When your real self gets a hold of this information, she can choose it too with whatever she wants. Yeah, he will go to the post office and I wish to deliver this 2000 years later. Please? What? Twilight widened her eyes, then lifted her again to look back at him with renewed admiration. That's a great idea. Can you do this now? Featherwind touched the red crystal hanging on his neck. I can use this to write a ritual letter and store it in this gem. Then, at a later date, I can use it template to make an actual letter when I return to my time or sometime close to it. She has only read the book Featherwind never wish found, full of embarrassing stories. Oof. Sounds perfect. No, Twilight, there is an actually much easier solution for this. Traveling to time. You can just travel to the time after Twilight was being taken away, like 2 seconds after her clone was taken away, and deliver it. You can even hoof deliver it if you want at that point. Actually, Featherwind looked up as he thought of something else he could do. He took a moment to refine his idea, then looked back at her. I'll do you one better. I'll let you write the letter right now. Twilight squinted one eye. Come again? How can I write a letter to myself right now? We don't have any Quill ending with us right now, do we? Or is there some in this laboratory we could use? As she asked that question, she quickly glanced around the rest of the laboratory, but looked back at Featherwind when he answered the question. I actually think it's gonna be funny. Why is there no Quill and paper in the laboratory? They are researching things. There should be some. Featherwind grinned at her. We can do this using a method really far up your alley. He closed his eyes for a moment and concentrated. His horn ignited silver, then for a moment later, a costly hologram of a letter materialized in midair, along with a quill floating beside it. While still concentrating on maintaining the spell, he opened his eyes at her and said, take the virtual quill and use it to write yourself a letter, to be delivered to yourself in the future. Be sure not to only include the details you have learned tonight, but also include something else in the letter that proves it's really you writing the letter. Your real self will likely be skeptical at first, so be sure to write down something that would convince yourself that you are telling the truth in this letter. Aside from your home writing, make sure to write down something that only you would know. Yeah, that's why she will start with, Dear Princess Twilight. It's been a long time since she wrote a letter to any pony. Twilight seemed amused. Wasn't the original name Queer Scroll? Yes. Featherwind asked for seriously. I am of the Scroll family, and it is our family duty to keep records of anything important. I will protect your message with my life, Twilight Sparkle. You have my word. I will make sure your true self gets this letter, even if I have time to time travel and deliver it to you in person. What did I just suggest? Actually, that would be nice if you could manage that. So, share it with virtual Quill. Do I just write with it like normal Quill? Yes, Princess. I will even not look if that is what you want. Though, I must eventually look upon it to transfer it to another rare scroll. No, it's okay. You can look. Let's see. She placed the hoof on her lips as she thought about what she wanted to write. When she decided, she lowered her hoof back on the ground and ignited her own horn, which emitted a proper growl. She tightly sized the virtual Quill and used it to write on the virtual scroll, as it were a real scroll. With each stroke of the virtual Quill, a light shone off the scroll for a second and settled into what appeared to be black ink. But there was about 2-second delay process for the thing to show up. She needed a moment to get used to that, but after she did, she kept on pouring her heart into this letter to make sure this incredible message would be read and never forgotten. Dear Princess Twilight, I am you. I am Do art I. I write to you because of my memories. Well, actually, it would not be so hard to make sure that Twilight believes this letter. You know why? Because it will be probably... What do you think of this chapter? Well, there are a lot of characters. That's what I think. You want to kill my voice. That's also what I think about it. I found it funny how you've written Aladdin in here. It's a little bit of reference. Sorry. And there are lots of characters who might not have been here, who shouldn't have been here, and there are some who should be here. But obviously, Doctor is making sure that everything goes as he wants. He brought a literal army to this. And I'm not sure it's a good idea to let yourself write a letter to you because the Doctor made sure that this was a time copy. That's why he made a time copy, not because they can die, because it would mess with time if they didn't know about things. I know this is a big important thing that she's writing about, but I have a feeling that Quill might not deliver it to Twilight later on. That's a little bit post-dated. Yeah, it's still post-dated, but it's still a problem, because then why wouldn't they just remember anything? Why didn't they just grab the original ones, not the time copy? I know it's because of the possible murder sequence that's gonna happen, and I believe so that most of them will die. Because why else would you use time copies? Here. Unless it's just PG and they will not die, they just faint. They just disappear. Right? That's how they do. It would still cause a problem. Probably. Remember when Twilight tried to stop herself from doing stuff with her time spell? That caused problems as well. There are many fixed time events surrounding their lives, and yet he needed them in a mission. That's so very difficult that he needs them. Yep, that's true. That's true. But again, I have to remind you that even though he is looking out for everyone, Featherwind is looking out for every he's forgetting one very crucial pony and not looking at her, which is Stormwing. I have to remind you that she is still there. She is her love. As I reminded you last time that he didn't even call her out. He didn't even put her on the list of big hearts, big and shining hearts. I now have a little bit of theory in my mind right now that Storm is actually just at the corner, always peeking around, looking at Featherwind, what he's doing, alone with Twilight, another female from the future. It would be fun. I suppose she could if she had celestial spy mirrors. No, I meant she is spying on them physically. Just slightly opening the door and looking inside. Here's Johnny. He is stomping. Remember that thought along for those same lines too for a moment. Yeah, because for a long time you are not mentioning her at all. Yet you are. I know that you are introducing the new characters, but she is still there. Jealousy. One of the elements of disharmony, and one of the 7 deadly sins. Wait, let me see where you said Stormwing's name last time. It was in the beginning, when Stormwing is still here. Well, she is just with Derpy. Okay, that makes a little bit sense that she would be with Derpy and Vision at this moment. He had no intent to cheat on Stormwing. He just wanted to show Twilight something important that's relevant to his time, and he may affect it in the future too. We know that, but Stormwing doesn't. I mean, if he did cheat on Twilight, he would not write it in the book, would he? Because Stormwing only knows that she had a daughter and they were together. Nothing else. So, from the halfway point, Sturming is not even mentioned. Only just for a bit. And just because her own daughter is telling about it. So halfway is when you mention Sturming. Or tell his daughter in the future either. Yeah, he wouldn't do that. Well, this chapter, there are a lot of characters in it. Way too much. Way too much characters. You're getting into things I'm doing for the gentle switch first, several chapters back. Wow, okay. Also, we still don't know who the mother is. who was originally a female. Their memories could have been rewritten. That yes, I was always a male. But that wouldn't make sense. They can still go back there and say, oh hey, I am not actually your father, I am your mother. And Sturming is your father. That would now mess with that. He wasn't a male then. Let's explain the story on a gender change planet. Oh! Oh! That will be fun thing to read later on. But yeah, it was a... let's just say, it's an interesting story. It's an interesting chapter. A lot of characters has been introduced, we know them. Especially Grumble. Who... it actually makes sense that he would join. I thought it would not say, it would be not safe for work. Predictions for the future chapters. One word. War. That's my prediction. Now that the Black Star is actually... remember how they actually proved a barrier, made a barrier out of crystal and pure hope for the Doctor against the Dark Star. The Dark Star probably felt it, that there is one point where he can't reach. And probably felt that is arriving in this timeline as well. That means the Darkstar is preparing his own army at this point, which we don't know about. So this is gonna be a great war. And it's certainly one thing you can do with an army. But they are trying to do something different with this, because it's not just physical war, as Spike mentioned. It is gonna be mental, most likely mental fortitude. But we will definitely have to do some physical fighting as well. Because as I said, the Dark Star is preparing his own army. Which is right hidden. Actually, which... wait. Quill. Why is Featherwind not checking on the Dark Star with the telescope? I know we can see anything from the Dark Star itself, but we can see around it to check if there are many creatures gathering through it. We would see the army if she did that. But again, that's Featherwind forgetting basic scouting. No, I'm talking about the Dark Star, which is the meteorite that is dropped down in Equestria. Oh, Pajora, sorry. It's not Equestria yet. When I say Dark Star, I mean the Dark Star on the ground. Because obviously they saw the Twilight Star on the ground as well, because the original Twilight Star is not visible. It's over the horizon, hidden in the black storm. Huh. I thought they checked it. No, they. Quill, didn't they check the metal? At least put there, and they saw nothing. When they first showed him how it looks like, they showed the Dark Star as well, and they saw nothing, only the storm. So that was the reason, because it's over the horizon, not because it's a Dark Star. Wait, which chapter was it when he came in here? I think it's close to the same, but no. They were never able to get close to it before. When is he joining Liberation? Nope. The origin of magic. Maybe here? What is it? It was not called telescope. Dark Star crashed on this planet. Dark Star Meteor, that's what you call it, okay. Okay, they just talked about it, okay. My bad. My bad, they just talked about it. I actually thought that because it's darkness around, it well, it wasn't visible from the telescope, but they didn't even try to see it. At least I don't think so. There are so many darks here. But yeah, it was a very strong episode. There are lots of characters introduced. I hope you will do something with them in the next chapter. It's okay, the necromantic snow around the area of the Dark Star. I know they weren't able to get close to it, but as I said, I was in the misconception that he was able to see it with at least the area around it with the telescope, but nope, they didn't do that at all. Okay, but yeah, that's it for today. I'm gonna see what day it is. It's Thursday. I'm thinking, let me check my work schedule when I can do the next thing. This should be hard. So let's see. Friday, Saturday. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing. Well, I don't know. Let them check for schedule event. The problem is, I actually don't know because I will work in the morning today, and the next day I will work in the afternoon, but I won't be able to do it tomorrow. But there are some events scheduled for me, so yeah, we do want to see it. But yeah, about the next chapter reading, I will just tell you on Discord and put it out when I'm able to establish when I'm gonna do it. Taking forever to load. No, it's not loading. So yeah, while it's loading, I'm gonna just prepare everything. It's 9:34, huh? Ba, ba, ba. Oh, Quill already got it. And now I got it as well. Can I show it here? Or should I not show it here? Seems safe for work. Okay, there it is. You can see half of her face. You can see the kitty mark. What is that? Is it an Excel? Yeah, it's an Excel. And obviously her name is Live Excel. And here's the character itself. Wow, 50 desperate. It's a punk rock pony girl. Desperados. Oh, you missed an O here. I was like, Desperates, or something like that. But it's a really nice OC. I like it. I really like it. Wait, oh. I thought that was a spike coming out of a hoof, but that was a scar. I'm a punky girl in the punky world. For some reason, she reminds me of Jinx. in League of Legends, if you know what I mean. In a good sense. But yeah, I think now I'm gonna leave. I don't know if I'm gonna stream or not, but we will see. I'm not gonna eat. I'm getting hungry right now, so I'm gonna prepare some food and then maybe a little bit of persona before going to work. But again, I'm gonna tell you on Discord when I'm gonna post when I will be able to stream. Again, yes, thanks for the share. Again, it's a nice. What? Right, the great cans. Thank you for the listening as well. And again, I will tell you next when it's gonna be next time. Until then, as you know, I have to record at some point the next episode of MLP because we are much faster to upload them right now with this. But now I'm gonna leave. Thank you all for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.